next guest is going to be making his UFC debut next Saturday against Nordine Taleb. It is Kyle Prepolec here on the program. And Kyle, before we say anything, man, how does it feel to be known as a UFC fighter now?
It feels great. Like it's a surreal moment, So I got to embrace all this.
Yeah, just soak it all in. When did you find out that you were in the UFC, that you got the call?
Literally, probably I don't know, maybe a day or so ago. I'm assisting.
Yeah, and I should mention to my listeners, the time we're recording this is on Saturday, during basically the Fort Lauderdale card, which is happening right now. And, we found out about the switch up very, very early. So, I mean, you were in training camp. You're always training, so as far as the short notice goes, it's not a big deal. Because you actually had a fight I saw scheduled for June, right?
Yeah, for June 15th against Mike Santiago, a former UFC vet. So it's, it took maybe a little time off, and then right after that Pfister fight, I was just staying at it, staying active, and just staying sharp.
Was this something you were expecting?
It was definitely not something I was expecting, but something that you're thinking in the back of your mind, this could happen. So just kind of stay ready, because you never know, because life works in mysterious ways. So.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because you were supposed to fight Curtis DeMars in your last fight, and you end up fighting Cody Pfister instead. And I actually think that probably worked out better because of the fact that Cody fought in the UFC. Do you feel like had you fought Curtis, we might not be talking about this?
Yeah, I think Cody, the win over Cody Pfister was, like a huge jump. Instead of doing a couple more fights than fighting somebody like Cody Pfister, this kind of just made it like a big jump start.
And nothing against Curtis. I mean, he's a great opponent, but I just think with Cody, he had that name value. And, when you hear that name, people know him more than they would Curtis just because he's fought in the UFC. So obviously that worked out. How do you feel like you match up against Nordine in this fight? He's a big welterweight, but, again, you fought bigger guys in your career a lot of times.
Yeah, I'm usually kind of on the like a little shorter end against like those bigger guys, because everyone's taller than 5'10" and around 6 foot plus, and I feel like I match up good. I got good high energy, and I like to throw a lot of volume with a lot of intent instead of just flying around. I throw my shots to do something and implement damage and set up my game plan. I think with my boxing and my footwork and my movement, I can dictate the pace and take control. Like maybe a bigger guy, but I've always fought bigger guys, so he's just a bigger, heavier guy. So I'll have to use my speed and Frankie Edgar this one.
You mentioned being in the gym. Did you get to do any cross training in the last couple months at Michigan Top Team, or has it been primarily at MTC in Windsor?
I was only there a couple times before actually the Pfister fight. Then after that, I've only been to a couple boxing gyms, and then just rolling and grappling and doing striking at Maximum Training Center, where I primarily train at.
Okay, and what about training partners? Who are some of the guys you've been working with? Is CJ Laramie? I imagine he's in the gym.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's there with us, and I got Shane Monahan, who's making his pro debut in June 15th as well at the PFC card. I got TJ, I got Nick Nifros, who's a big, tall body. He's about 6'3", 6'2" at the shorter side maybe, but he's a big boy. I got Ali here and there. Who else do I got? Just a bunch of like bodies that I get to work with. Justin Taverne, like all the good local guys that are well-rounded and good levels for wrestling, striking, all different looks, right? So I get the opportunity to go with those guys.
How's the cut for you? Because your last two fights have been catch weights. Where you won the title, that was at 165. Your last fight was 160.
Weight cuts have been fine. Like this one's because I'm on the lighter side anyway. Like if I had to make 155, I obviously would do it, and it's work, right? So I got to do what I got to do. It'd be hard, but I know I could do it. So for this one, it's at 170. So I'm pretty much walking around that. I could just do like a nice workout, get a good sweat on, and not stress too much, and still, not deplete myself, where I can still feel healthy, feel energetic, and not drained.
Now, when you got this matchup, was there any past opponent that reminded you of Nordine at all, as far as looking back on your career? Is there anyone that comes to mind?
I would say with his like powerful kicks and all that stuff, probably like Adrian. Adrian.
Oh, Hadrabey, yeah, I remember that.
Him and I would, for like his kicks and stuff. Any style for a big guy, I guess you could have a mix between Scott Hudson and Adrian. I'd have to put those two.
If you morph them together, that would be Nordine.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's interesting. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
From what I know of, I'm not too sure. I know it's Reno Belcastro, Mark Hominick, and I think Paul Russo.
Oh, interesting. So Hominick's going to be in your corner. That's great.
Yeah, so it's good. I was talking to him earlier, so it's nice. He's a big helping hand with us, and he helped out big time. So
Yeah, and he only fought for the featherweight title or anything. I mean, he knows a thing or two about
yeah,
MMA, so that's pretty
he's
good.
he's the vet, you know. So do what's best, and he's always there for us. So the least I can do is appreciate and thank him for everything he's done, you know.
How do you feel like this fight's going to play out? You feel like you're going to win, otherwise why sign the contract? But how do you see it unfolding?
It's gonna be a fun fight for everybody. I think that's how I think, and you know, I think it's gonna be a war. I think I can outbox him, outmove him, and you know, give the fans what they want. You know, so that's my goal.
Because this is short notice, I guess you don't get a ton of tickets. Like, are people going to be making the trek from Windsor? It is pretty far to go from Windsor to Ottawa.
I'm sure there'll be a few people from Windsor going up, and I know a lot of people are going up to Ottawa anyway for just a bunch of random trips and all that. And so now they'll have something to do on that weekend and come watch.
Now, if you get the win, are you going to go on the mic and call out Kevin Lee and ask for that rematch?
Yeah, I'd
I'm
love
kidding,
to.
obviously, but yeah, I mean that is pretty. I think people forget that you fought him. I mean, and that's sort of been the theme of your career is that you fought really tough guys like in your career that I don't even think people realize. You fought Alex Ricci as well, as in the UFC. So I mean, you know, to say this hasn't been a long road, that's an understatement. It has been, I would say. So you must be pretty excited, and you've been battle tested.
Oh yeah, battle tested, and yeah, like those guys were like, there's no easy fight. Every fight is 50-50, and you know the guys are just getting better and better each time. And yeah, eventually I'd like to get that rematch. You know, I just got to work my way up because he's way up there and I'm down here, and I know it'll only be a matter of time till I can get myself back up on those rankings as well and work my way up.
And the plan would be to go to 55 after this, right?
Oh yeah, big time. That's weight class, and that's where I feel best and most comfortable at. So that's where I'm going to go after this.
Okay. And when are you actually getting to Ottawa?
That I'm not too sure yet. I'm waiting for Reno to let me know, or Mark, or you know,
Because
and
it'd probably be easier to fly because that's a really long drive, I would think.
yeah, I think we're flying out. I just don't know what day.
Yeah. And have you been to Ottawa before? Because I guess you've been to Montreal a bunch of times for TJ's fights.
I've been there, yeah, to Montreal a few times for my fights, TJ and Tony's fights. Ottawa, the only time I went there was a couple of years ago for Canada Day to go party and enjoy Canada Day with everyone.
Which isn't as good as you'd think. Because I used to live in Ottawa, and if you go down to Parliament, you can't move. Like, it's so packed down there. It's crazy. So
Yeah, that's exactly where we went. So it was just filled, and you know, still had a good time. It's just, yeah, like you said, it was just you can't move, you can't really do anything.
Kyle, again, congratulations on getting the UFC call up. I can't wait for this fight. It's going to be awesome. UFC Ottawa, May 4th. You can't miss it. Just any social media you got to plug, any sponsors, any thank yous, anything like that, man, the floor is yours.
Oh yeah, tons of thank yous. You know, I gotta give shout out to all the guys at Adrenaline. You know, Mark Hominick, Sam Stout, Chris Hordecki, who've been there since like pretty much the beginning. My training partners at Michigan Top Team. You know, Darren Cruikshank, Jason Fisher. You know, Cody Stamen, all those guys, and all the Michigan Top Team crew. Border City Boxing for letting me train there, and Windsor Amateur Boxing, training with those top-notch guys. You know, Rob Beavers and the BTC team and PFC team. The sponsors, Lyuna, IBW, Penalty Box, Motor City Credit Union, Takedown Distribution, Canadian Protein, Street Soldier, they've been there since the beginning, Boston Pizza, Chow Cafe, Enercheck, JMac Concrete, Unifor, Rise Management, Pat Wilson, MRA, ordered, and yeah, I think that's everyone. And obviously the MTC team and all my teammates, friends, family, and ongoing support, and obviously the city of Windsor to have my back.
And Twitter and Instagram, where can they get a hold of you?
You can just search Kyle Prepolec on Instagram. Same thing on Twitter. I think it's Kyle Prepolec or K Prepolec. Facebook, you just search the name as well, and that's it.